survey job. Just chopper them in and out. Be a joyride.
Is that a monkey?
You knew that thing was out here?
Monsters exist.
What you're looking at is a monster from some bygone era.
Son the cavalry.
I am the cavalry. Time to show that man is king.
Run! We just got taken down by a monkey the size of a building.
Yeah, that was an unconventional encounter.
Kong Skull Island.
He shouldn't have come here.
Rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX March 10.
Yes, John Goodman spoke the truth. Monsters do exist, and I fear that man will never, ever be king.
Kong Skull Island in IMAX 3D was the quintessential movie to see in 3D in IMAX. I mean, really, Dylan, one of the things that I really loved about this film was the 3D itself. Being in the seat all the way on top of the theater and having Kong in your face and having all the action and objects thrown and people being thrown and just madness unfold was just fantastic. I loved Kong. It was an experience.
It was beautiful.
See this movie in an IMAX theater. 3D you could, but IMAX 3D is so much different and the technology is really improving. I loved how we were up top, even though we were up top, we saw Kong right in our faces. We saw his eyes, his hands, his furry body, and him just grabbing branches, grabbing helicopters, grabbing people, throwing them around, and it was just great. The explosions were in your face. It was a fun ride. I loved Kong. I have no complaints. This is one of our films, I think, for 2017, where we said, all right, Dylan, all right, Mike, we have to fucking see this. We're gonna go. We sat our asses down in the seats, and we did stay until the end too, because it is just something very fun, and it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be great.
Oh yes, without a doubt, and oh, I get excited every time I think about it.
Yep, so you wanna continue on with it?
Yeah, well, your plot is sort of basically where a group of researchers go to an uncharted island,
Yes.
never located on any map but just on satellite, and meanwhile there's when they get to the island, there's a, let's just say after they do a little so-called scientific research, all hell breaks loose.
Yes, this is at the time where it's 1973. Nixon is president of the United States. We're getting out of Vietnam. We're transitioning into more of a progressive kind of society. And, you know, these guys, these soldiers, these photographers, you know, whoever that are involved, this team, they're on a quest to see what's going on. They're on a quest to find something in the jungles that's been rumored for years and years and it's never been unveiled. And what they see is a big creature out of this dimension, and it's just amazing. I loved it. It was fantastic. I think one of my favorite things about this film was how the introduction transitioned with archive footage from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and it showed FDR, JFK, and space, and you know all these political climates that were occurring. It was just fantastic. I love that part. Using those clips really signified a strong meaning into the environment that we're going to be introduced to. And I think they pulled it off in terms of set designs, costumes, cars, and the 70s. What did you think about that?
Oh yeah, it was all top notch.
It was a nice little tribute, and I liked that they did a throwback and they did it right. It was fantastic. I can't say enough about that part, but I did love the casting. John Goodman was the best part. He was great. He was fantastic. I love the documentary approach they did, you know, with the photographer when she took her pictures, and when John Goodman had the 16mm camera, I think it was. I don't know which kind of camera, but it was just fantastic. This documentary approach had this greediness and just the landscapes and the environment. It kind of gives you this war type of feel, except you're not dealing with the Vietnamese and the communist regimes. You're dealing with something that you really don't understand.
Yeah, forces beyond your control, something that you never even thought
Yes.
would exist. Well, and yeah, just like the trailers have always said, this planet doesn't belong to us. Ancient species lived on this earth long before mankind.
Yes. Yes.
And that was like one of my favorite quotes from John Goodman.
Yeah, John Goodman was stellar, and then Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson's great in everything. He plays this really disgruntled sergeant. He's in war. He needs to finish the mission. And when they're transitioning out of the Vietnam conflict, he seems like he's very broken about it.
Yeah, and on top of all that, he, like, especially after what Kong, did to one of his men, like, you all have seen it with where he swats the helicopters like flies. He basically just goes on this mission of vengeance.
Yes, he is determined to go after Kong, and we're not going to spoil any major events, but the situation really deals with both sides, those who are not in the war and those who are in the war. You have two different people and two different life experiences. There's one's works for media and exposes what's going on, and the others, they're just pretty much soldiers of war. They're soldiers. They do what they have to do. They go from point A to point B, and they never give up. We're not going to spoil anything major or go point by point, scene by scene, but there's really a big contrast between this camp and this camp.
Yeah, and it really actually makes you pick a side.
It really does. It makes you pick as a viewer. Do you trust Samuel Jackson or do you trust this other group of individuals? It really gets you going. And Samuel Jackson, he did a stellar job. Samuel Jackson's great in everything.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest. He's one of the greats of movies.
And in my opinion, he sort of played as sort of like this,
right,
villain type role.
Yeah, he had this villainous, ominous intention into him. But I did like him. I did. I thought he did fantastic. He was stellar. No complaints about that. He does have his lines. He has his moments, and they're fine and they're fantastic. And I think they transition well. I mean, some people may differ, may complain, but I thought each person, I think a couple people really steal the show, and they really have done their jobs of what they're supposed to do with their script and who their characters signify.
Yeah, for example, John C. Reilly.
Yes, I love John C. Reilly, and usually he's the kind of comedic type of dude, but he pulled it off well. He had some serious moments, and he has a really good backstory.
Yeah, and there's a reason behind his quirkiness.
Right, but we're not going to give that away. But when you watch the film, keep an open mind with that if you were John C. Reilly himself and you were in this position, you would be this way. You would act this way. You would, react to things this way. So just keep that in mind. The CGI was fantastic.
Yeah. What I really loved were like the monster fights.
Those were fucking epic. When you got the skull crawlers, you got Kong, and boom. Oh, they fuck shit up. You see them getting thrown here and there. Kong grabbing them, beating the shit out of them. Just crazy shit, and the helicopters and the explosions.
Yeah, and all these other
It's
creatures.
Amazing. It's incredible in IMAX. Very, very fun. It's really, truly an experience. There's a lot of movies that come out in 3D, and honestly, right now, since this was just released, Kong should be on your list of 3D films in an IMAX setting, of course, because it's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just great. I love the CGI. Kong was huge. He was a big guy. Big fucking guy. And you know what?
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't care if he's not on all fours. I don't care. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't really give a shit. And I don't and I really don't give care about the fact that he doesn't have more personality or shit.
It's Kong. It's Kong. He's an ape. Gorilla. He's a big gorilla.
Yeah.
This is his turf. Don't fuck with his turf.
Yeah.
Get out. Stay out. Don't come in. Don't do anything. Don't be a fucking war machine and fuck it up, because he'll go after your ass.
Yeah.
He definitely will.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I am really thinking for the next couple years, we are probably going to see more of these MonsterVerse films in IMAX.
I think this is going to be one of those things like where, back then, Godzilla and King Kong, all those OGs were becoming really big and the audiences love them. I think this is our turn. This is our answer to those films. And I'm not trying to compare King Kong of 1933 to Skull Island, But this was like me seeing King Kong for the first time. This was like me seeing Kong in a whole new way, in a whole new perspective, and I just thought it was great.
Yeah.
What I also loved is the choices of music. It was fantastic. What are some great songs you like? I loved Black Sabbath's Paranoid. That was a perfect introduction to the helicopters. What other songs did you like that you could
I liked Bad Moon Rising and Run Through the Jungle, especially
Yes.
Run Through the Jungle, because I thought it was a very clever, choice, because, you're having these groups of people run through a hostile jungle area.
Definitely, and it fits with the environment and the kind of suspense and the unknown, the worriness, the emotion of what the hell are we gonna do? What is our human condition, and and how do we solve the predicament? It was just fantastic. I love the music. The music was great. That was really fucking good, and it matched so well with the scenes. And honestly, perfect musical choices, very well-known songs. The director did a great job in that choice. He did a great job with the CGI. The CGI wasn't shitty or hokey. The characters, a couple honorable mentions, as I said, they did a great job. It's just fun.
Yeah, I like Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, etc.
Yeah, I thought it was fun, and it's something to check out definitely, especially if you have kids.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of the MonsterVerse and Kong Skull Island, there is something I really want to mention. I want to really get this out of my chest.
Go ahead.
This whole Godzilla versus Kong teaming up against a bigger threat needs to stop now. I don't see it going in that direction. I don't care how awesome it is, and people like you can get pissed all you want. I don't think that's the right way to go, at least not right now. So just stop. Like what do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. We're not going to spoil anything. We're not going to give it away, but you're going to see, judging by what you've seen in the film, if you've seen it, these creatures and how they interact and how they respond to each other. They're not going to be like, oh, we're the Avengers and we're just going to team up in one movie and then we're going to go after the bad guys and blah, blah, blah. No.
No. And first of all,
it's not a comic book universe. This is not a Marvel universe. This is its own universe. It's a MonsterVerse. This is what they're supposed to do. You will have these monsters established in later sets of films, and then we're gonna get to the ultimate conclusion of a greater threat. But right now, we have to see what they do, how they react, and what the creative team and the direction that they go with this, new whole saga, if you will.
Yeah, and I just want to say more. The reason why I think it's released in 2020 is because they're trying to get, they're probably doing like the whole fighting thing in a smart way without pissing off either fans and,
Definitely.
companies, who created them. And they also, I also think this is why big movies like Godzilla versus Kong basically would get ruined, because, if you build up so much hype based off of one idea, and when people see it who want that idea and it's not what they expect, then they're gonna butcher the crap out of it.
Right. It's gonna just water it down. It's gonna just ignite the fire, and when the fire gets almost gets to the explosion, water stops it.
Yeah.
So we don't want it to burn out. We don't want it to be a burnout type of deal.
Yeah. And another thing is, I don't know. I actually don't think it's a good idea right now, and I don't care how many people say it's gonna happen. Oh, it will happen. I don't think it will, because I don't see them going in that direction.
I don't see it either. And you know what? If they go with a different tone and a different approach to the audiences, that's gonna be great. Again, we're not gonna say what happens. We're not giving away spoilers, but it's going to build up. It's gonna establish itself, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I want it to go into the direction that we have discussed in our previous video a couple months back. But
yeah,
Kong Skull Island overall, love the acting, cinematography, the set pieces, the production value. I loved everything they did. It's just awesome to see the camera angles going around you in 3D. Like certain camera angles go around various mountains and go here and there. It's just amazing, and it works so well in 3D. And honestly, I'm gonna say it. My overall grade for Kong Skull Island of 2017 gets an A+. I'm going to say it's an A+. Some people may disagree. Some people may criticize minor, stupid fucking things. But you know what? I don't do that. He doesn't do that. We want to see a movie. If it has an appeal, it has an interest, we're gonna see it because when was it first announced? When was it announced? Like what? November.
Yeah, November. No, I think it. Oh wait, the trailer you mean?
Yeah, like the first teaser, the first.
It was announced in July.
In July, right? Mm-hmm.
Last year.
Right, and we were just excited to see it, and it paid off. The anticipation was exceeded, and I think that's all we have to say on that. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you give it?
I give it a 5 out of 5. It was definitely up there along with Godzilla.
Yep, 5 out of 5, A+. Go see it, have fun, have an open mind, and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's got potential, it definitely does. And
yeah.
I think people should see it. I definitely do.
I do too. And one last thing. Coming soon, I'm basically working on a video myself regarding this universe, and not going to tell you much, but it's resolving around a campaign that hopefully all of you can basically help me convince Legendary to make happen. If you do, I would appreciate that.
Yep. But we're going to get to that in another type of video. So yeah, guys, Kong Skull Island, 5 out of 5, A+. Check it out. Loved it. It was a fun film. Loved the monsters. I just loved it.
Yeah, and again, to conclude, no team up. Godzilla versus Kong, no team up. Period. Yep. It is stupid and cliche, and I don't care how many people get upset.
Okay, order in the court. That's done. That's been established.
Yep.
So yeah, Kong, let us know what you think if you've seen it. If you have not, check it out and get back to us with this video. And yeah, we'll see in the comments and we'll talk more about it. So yeah, stay tuned for another cinematic film we're going to check out in theaters, and that is Logan.
Yes.
Logan's going to be fucking badass. Adios.